Hi guys, I want to welcome you to Life Knocks number 4. My name is Pierre Walters and I'm the director and senior producer of Blue Artist. Now, today I want to talk about something that is everywhere. It's everywhere, no matter where you go, it is everywhere, and that is fear. Fear, fear, fear. That is, if you were to say to somebody, hey, what is the one thing that is preventing you from going out there and living your dream? Well, guess what? That one thing is fear. So, what is fear? Well, I don't know what Webster says, but I'm going to tell you what I know fear to be. Fear is the anticipation of pain. It is the anticipation of pain. It is you thinking about the negative results of what might happen to you based off of something that is out of your control. So, for example, some people say, I don't want to start up this business idea because if I leave my job, I'm not going to get paid. Well, what are they really saying? They are saying that, hey, if I don't get paid, I'm not going to have a place to live, I'm not going to have food to eat, and what's the point of having this new business if I can't even live? Okay? You have other people who say, hey, my vision to go off and be an actor, I can't do that because I don't want to leave my day job, because if I leave my day job, I'm not going to get paid, and what's the point of living a life without money just to go act? I might as well be homeless. Okay. Bottom line is, fear is what is crippling us from doing what we need to do to meet our goals and to accomplish our dreams. So, how do we take care of fear? What do we do to solve this problem? Well, in my experience, I have found that when I look at a situation, let's say there's a project, there's an incredible project that I want to do. I mean, this is just an unbelievable project. I am just so jazzed about it. But you know what? In order to accomplish this project, I have got to raise X amount of dollars. I mean, that's the only way to make it happen. Well, okay. Fear sets in because the number one thing I'm thinking at that point, sort of logically, being realistic, is how in the world am I going to raise this money? Who's going to trust me with this amount of money? Now, I do have a proven track record. I do have a proven track. But you know what? Sometimes when when I'm thinking this stuff through, that doesn't mean anything. My resume doesn't mean anything. The only thing that matters to me is the fact that I know that this project is going to cost this much money, and I don't know who in the world is going to finance it. Okay? So, so what I'm afraid of is the fact that maybe my professional colleagues, my contacts, they're going to look at me in a negative way if I do not accomplish this project that I want to accomplish. So you know what that does? In some sense, that cripples me from even expressing in the first place that this is something I want to get done. And so here's what I've found that helps me to overcome my fear and overcome the sort of crippling, paralyzing stasis of fear when it comes to your dreams. And the number one thing is speak it. Speak it, speak it, speak it. I speak it. I speak my dreams. So let's say there's a project I want to do, there's a film I want to create, and I don't know how it's going to get done. I have no idea where the money's going to come from. But you know what? That's not going to stop me. I'm going to speak my vision. Guess what? This is what I want to do, and this is why I want to do it. I'm going to speak it. I'm going to put it on my forehead everywhere I go. Everyone I meet, I'm going to be ready to talk about this project, because guess what? It may not be real for you, but it's real for me. Then the next thing I do is I make it even more real for me. I make it tangible. I type it up into a proposal. I type it up, I mean everything, including the why, the when, the how as far as the budgeting, the where, if that's necessary, and I put together a proposal. I even script as much as I can. I make sure that this project exists in the tangible form, at the very least, so that it is something that is physical and not just in my head. So two things. I speak the idea, I put the idea on my forehead so that anyone I come into contact with, I am ready at any point to talk about this vision. And the second thing I do is I commit it to paper to make sure it's tangible, to make sure it's real, and to make sure that it is something that is practical that I can actually give to someone if the situation ever were to present itself. Okay, so those are the two things I do to help me overcome fear. Now, after I've done that, then what next? What next? Well, then I take it and I just shop it around. I just shop it around. Now, I'm not talking about doing what they say in Hollywood, which is, oh, you go schedule a meeting with some top Hollywood executive and make a pitch and hope your idea gets funded. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about shopping it around to collaborators, shopping it around to people that can actually help you, not with money, but with resources. I always start with the resources because the money will work itself out. The resources are what I can actually make the attempt to go and discover for myself. So I start with, if there are camera people I know of, I try to get those people, I explain to them what the project is, I try to get them to see the vision, to understand why this has to be done, and I try to get them to sign on to the project, okay? I try to get other producers to sign on to the project. The number one most important thing I always say when I meet with new producers is I say, guess what, guys, I am not after your money. I am after your talent. I am after your expertise. I'm not after your money. I'm after you as an individual and as a producer. I get them signed on to the project. I make sure they believe in the vision of the project. I get them attached. Then I've got producers. I go and try to find crew. I try to find fellow writers. I try to find anyone that I can think of that can, in attaching them to this project, makes everything that much more real. Okay? This is how I overcome my fear. This is how I overcome my fear. Because if I don't ever take a step forward to either make the idea, plaster it on my head, commit it to paper so that it's tangible, and then associate people to that idea, I am going to be living with this idea that's inside of my mind that I am going to always be too afraid to present to the world because I don't know how people are going to take it, or how people are, if people see that I have this idea and it's not successful, am I a failure? Another thing that it has potential to cripple me is this whole idea of saying you're going to do something and then not doing it. Okay? To me, that's the fear of unreliability. I never want people to look at me and think that I am unreliable. Let me tell you something. In this business, I'm a director and a producer. In this business, okay, reliability is key. If you cannot be reliable, if you cannot be someone that people can believe with their life that you're going to accomplish what you say you're going to accomplish at the time you say you're going to accomplish it, guess what? Your value is nilch. You have no value. Okay? No value at all. So that's the thing I try to do. I try to make sure that I am always reliable. So I'm always afraid if I put an idea out there and it might be a little too grandiose and maybe I don't accomplish it. Maybe it doesn't ever come to fruition. Then are people going to look at me and think that I might be unreliable or something like that? That's a legitimate fear I have. But you know what? I have to overcome that. And the way I overcome this is I just keep moving forward. When life knocks you down, you just keep moving forward. If you don't know what the next step is, if you don't know where the next step leads, you just keep moving forward. I remember when I was in California, and I'm going to tell you guys the story in another video, but I merged my company with a gas and oil electric company, and we became known as Blue Artist Films Incorporated. It was a public company. My company went from being worth practically maybe $40,000, $50,000, that's it, to $3 million, $4 million in like a month. Okay, just on the basis of this, of going public. I think we had 647 shareholders in Blue Artist Films Incorporated. But you know what? I was so excited. I was so ready to go. And then a few months later, I discovered some things that the board of directors of my company were doing that I did not agree with, and I was afraid that, oh my goodness, if I make a move, if I stand up against the board of directors, they're going to fire me from my own company, and then what will I have? But you know what the alternative to that was? The alternative was that I stuck with what the board of directors were deciding for Blue Artists, and Blue Artists would go into a direction that was inconsistent with my dreams and my vision and my values. So I overcome my fear. I stood up against the board of directors, and that's a long story short. I am now the owner and the senior producer of Blue Artists yet again, and Blue Artists is on track accomplishing things that I believe are of value towards my vision. So I just want to let you know, guys, that if you have fear, you can overcome that fear, and the way you overcome that fear is by moving forward. If you're too afraid to look forward while you walk, put a blindfold over your face and still keep moving forward. Just keep moving forward. Every day accomplish something towards your task. Don't not just one thing, two things. Accomplish two things towards your task. Make sure that you are living your dream. It's not easy. It's hard. It's hard. But you know what? And I always like to end on this. They say most people fail in life not because they aim too high and miss. They fail because they aim too low and they hit. Don't let that be you. Don't let that be you. Put in the hard work and go.